Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brendan Out of the Box, session 3, Where the Wind Blows. What you can do to be ready, we're going to pull our posters out, and we need 4 heavy things to put on the edges of our posters because they might be in a tight circle from when they were in the tube. So if you don't have 4 things to kind of weigh down the edges of your poster, maybe go grab those right now. And everyone can go ahead and lay your poster out. Okay, so welcome everybody. What we're gonna do today is talk a little bit about wind and what makes our boat go. We talked about what makes our boat float last week. Okay, so now there was 2 boxes sent to you. There was the tube and the poster. The other box, don't start eating the things in there. That's for next week. So we're just gonna use the poster this week. All right, and then we're just gonna really quickly go around the room and introduce everybody. I wanna know your name, your boat name, and where are you calling from? So we all get to know each other. So my name's Charlie. This is my boat. It's the Amazing Grace, and I'm calling from Annapolis, Maryland. Okay, Kellen.
Hello, people. I am Kellen Urban. I am currently streaming this from my home in Annapolis, Maryland, specifically Cape St. Clair. This is my boat. As you can see, it's the stock one with just the name. And I might put my name in the back. Who knows?
Okay.
Okay,
Gabriel.
I'm calling from Kitten Island.
And what's your boat name?
I named it the SS Pomeranian.
I love it. Good job. After your puppy dogs. Okay, Matthew.
Okay, so mine is supposed to represent a plane from World War II or something with the shark stuff, the camouflage.
Okay. Yep.
And on the other side, it's kind of something different, except I changed up the colors a little bit. So I either two-side World War or just camouflage. Either is fine.
Oh, I like camouflage.
That's really
all right. Cool. Okay, Bartley.
Bartley, my boat's name is Molly Brown, after, I don't know what, my mom chose it for me. And coming from Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay, Bartley, thanks very much. Fierce friend, Kyle. Where are you calling from?
Davidsonville, Maryland. It's right near Annapolis. I suppose my ship name is the Phoenix. I haven't really... I just named it after one of my dogs.
Okay. Awesome. So Fierce Friend is Kyle, and oh, you're so quick. Okay, so while we're waiting on Catherine, how about Jackson? And can we see your boat, Jackson? Do you have your boat?
I didn't start a design yet.
Okay. Well, mine's plain too right now. Mine's just going simple wood. All right. Okay, so now let's try again with Catherine. Catherine, can you turn on your sound and your video? Okay, Catherine's is the June flower. I like that.
That's a quite nice name.
So we got your chat, but we can't see or hear you. So we're gonna move on, but hopefully we'll get to see you a little bit later on. Okay, so quick review from last week. Can anybody tell me what buoyancy is?
Certainly, I can tell you what buoyancy is.
Kellen, what is buoyancy?
Is the ability for a boat to displace water, to remain afloat above water and not sink to the bottom.
Right. Okay, so the force in the water that's pushing something up makes it buoyant. Now, you said displacement too. Does anyone remember specifically what displacement is? Bartley.
How much water is moved around or displaced, for lack of a better word, when a object is put into water.
Right. So remember when we had the rock going into, like if I dropped a rock into my lemonade, the amount of lemonade that overflows is displaced. So what we learned was the clay will sink, but if we make the clay into a vessel, it'll spread out and displace more water than it weighs. So did anybody redo their boat and get more than 7 pennies in their clay boats yet last week?
I can never redo my boat. I think it got
I-
too much
My
and-
boat
Waterlogged?
It took a couple
Okay.
days for it to even dry up anyway, so I didn't really
Really?
have much time.
Okay. All right. So we don't have Noah this week. I think Noah had 7.
No,
How
somebody
many
had
did
like
you have,
19.
Matthew?
Somebody had like 19.
Noah had 19? Oh my
Somebody had
goodness.
like 19.
That's pretty
Okay.
impressive. I
Okay.
must admit.
All right. Excellent work, everybody. Okay. So that's displacement and buoyancy, and that's what we learned last week. So those are all forces. This week, we're going to talk about the force of wind and how wind,
Yes.
Shirley, we had a quick question, if you don't mind. Catherine asked, what did we do last week? 'Cause She
okay.
was not here.
Oh, okay. So Catherine, what we did, and we'll shoot you the video so that you can see, is we learned why wood floats and clay doesn't float. And then we made our clay into a boat so that it would float. Because like the ships we see out here on the Annapolis Harbor, they're made out of steel. And we know steel doesn't float. If you put a piece of steel in the water, it's going to sink to the bottom. But when you make it into a shape and the shape displaces more water than the weight of the ship, then it will float. So definitely we'll send you the video, Catherine, so that you can check it out. Okay, so we're going to talk about sail trim, but I jumped the gun. I need to talk to you a little bit about wind. So I'm going to turn my camera this direction, and this is my whiteboard. And we're going to talk about what makes a sailboat move through the water. So now we know why it doesn't sink to the bottom, but how does it move through the water? What makes a sailboat go? Do we put gasoline in our boat? Do we put diesel in our boat? What makes our
we don't
sailboat
do
move?
that.
Yeah. What makes the sailboat go?
Wind.
Well, the
wind,
wind
right?
pressing on the
So
sail.
we've got to harness that wind. And so we use our sails to do that. Now, the way I like to describe how the wind and the sails work is to talk about the buddy system. So how many of you know the buddy system? So
I
when you
think
go
I might be-
swimming or you go hiking, you take a buddy.
I am very familiar with the buddy system. If you go
Okay.
anywhere, you must travel with a friend, at least one person, so in case anything happens, they can respond to the situation effectively.
Okay, so let's imagine that wind has the buddy system. So 2 molecules of wind are going along in the air and they meet the mast of a sailboat. So they're split up. So one of them is going to travel over the windward side of the sail, closest to the wind. The other is going to travel over the leeward side of the sail, furthest from the wind. And they're going to meet up here together. So because the sail has a curve to it, when you're walking with your friend in the hallway and you turn a corner, if you're on the outside of the corner, you've got further to walk than your friend does, right? So you've got to walk a little bit faster in order to stand right next to your friend. So the same thing happens with the wind traveling over the leeward side of the sail. It has to move faster. And because it's moving faster, we get low pressure on the leeward side of the sail, and we get high pressure on the windward side of the sail. High pressure always wants to go towards low pressure. So we end up with the boat wanting to go this direction. But that's not where the bow is pointed. So that's not how we go across the wind or upwind. That's only one force. This force is called lift. And if I turn this over, wing, that's why an airplane goes up into the sky, lift. But we don't want the boat to go this direction. We want it to go this direction. So what do we have in our boat that stops it from going sideways? What's attached to the bottom of your guys' boat?
This?
The dagger board.
The dagger board or
board.
the fin or the keel?
Centerboard.
So that
It depends on the
keel,
size of the boat.
it does. A smaller boat generally has a centerboard. Bigger boats have
larger one
keels.
has a
Okay.
sail on it.
So that's
frequently.
going to prevent the boat from going this direction. It's going to be an arrow this way. And just like when you squeeze a watermelon seed, you've got pressure on one side and pressure on the other, and it goes forward. So just like a watermelon seed, we've got pressure on both sides of the boat, so it's going to shoot forward. And this is why boats move through the water. Okay? Now the sail has to be trimmed exactly right to the wind, and we're going to talk about that with our demonstration. Okay. Any questions on lift? All right. So now let's
Makes
look
sense to me.
at this diagram. We're going to talk about sail trim. So you can pick up your boat, and if you, right now, you can trim your sail by pulling on the main sheet. So if we pull the sail, if we don't do anything, the sail is going to just hang down. If I move my boat, the sail still hangs down. See, it's just hanging there. So if I pull my main sheet up, I've got almost all the way in or a quarter of the way out. I've got halfway out, 3/4 of the way out, and all the way out. So all the way out, 3/4 out, halfway out, and 1/4 out. So those are the different settings of sail trim. And depending on what point of sail you are on, your sails are going to be trimmed differently. So who remembers what it happens if you're just straight into the wind? What's it called?
Irons.
Gabriel.
Irons.
Irons, right? You're in irons, like you're shackled, like you can't move. You're very frustrating.
Yeah,
So that's the no-go zone. We can't go when the boat's in irons.
Yeah, and pass sail.
Just off of that, about 45 degrees or 30 degrees, depending on your boat, is called close hauled. The sails are hauled in close, about a quarter of the way from very, very center line. When you're sailing across the wind, that's a beam reach, and your sails are about halfway out. So you're halfway between, on a clock, between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, halfway out, going across, halfway around between the top and the bottom. If you go a little bit further off the wind, that's called a broad reach. And on a broad reach, your sails are 3/4 or almost all the way out. And then when you're running, your sails are all the way out. Okay, so we're going to now go to Evan's overhead cool screen. And we're gonna, yeah, so we're gonna do that. So Evan's screen. Can you guys see Evan's screen? There we go, Evan's screen, perfect. So if you look at Evan's screen, we have the boat in what direction? It's pointing straight into the wind. So what point of sail is that?
Shackles or irons.
Irons, right.
That is
the
the
no-go
correct
zone.
answer.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to close hauled. And Evan has a little fan there blowing so that
Nice
if he
effect.
let his
I
sail
like
all
that.
the way out, it would just luff. But he's using, see how it just goes straight into the wind? He's using his main sheet and he's putting it in the cleat to get close hauled. It's about a quarter of the way out. All right, so then he's gonna go down. What's the next point of sail after close hauled?
Beam reach.
Beam reach.
Beam reach, right, Kellen? And so where is the sail when you're on a beam reach?
Like halfway.
Halfway
Yes,
out.
halfway out. That is
Right.
the correct answer.
Oh, like this.
Okay. All right, and then if you go further, if your sail is if you're on a broad reach and you go your sails are almost all the way out. So they're 3/4 of the way out. Okay. And then if you go on a run, how far out are the sails when you're on a run?
All the way out.
All the way out. Right. Okay, excellent. All right. So now we're going to have you guys put your sails on your boats. And we want you to do this along with us. So the boom is going to change sides. So we're going to jibe. So Evan, if you'll put the boom on the other side. All right. So we want to put the boat on a broad reach. And how far is your sail going to be in? Is it going to be all the way in? So lay it on top of your poster. Is it going to be all the way in a broad reach?
To open the tube.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yep. everybody, if you don't already have your tube open, let's open your tube and lay your poster out. Okay, everybody else, Bartley is going to catch up. And Bartley, if you have something heavy, you want the corners of your tube to hold that poster down because it's going to want to roll up. So everyone's going to take this poster and lay it down on your table. And then you're going to take your boat and set it down on top of your poster.
Like this?
Yeah, that looks great. Colin?
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad I got my own
Looking good, Bartley.
microphone. It's
Can everyone see
a lot
this?
more useful
Okay,
than
like this
expected.
word or I don't know.
Jackson, Catherine, can you guys show us your poster?
I'm sorry, dog.
Okay.
My mast broke. It snapped in half.
Oh, no.
No.
Can you
I don't
tape
know what
it together?
happened. It was just
Can you
broke.
get like a toothpick and splice it together or something?
That's very
No,
disappointing,
it's
unfortunately.
really in half.
Let's see. You have it?
I didn't show my poster because like.
Okay. All right. So for those of you with broken masts or no poster, no problem. For the rest of you guys, let's follow along. So Evan, we're going to start with you. You're going to have it on a broad reach. And so how far out is a sail on a broad reach? Gabriel, how far out is your sail?
On a broad,
Is it
it's 50% out.
a little bit more, 75%
no,
out, 3/4 of the way out? Okay, so everyone's got their sail, adjusting your sail with your sheet to 3/4 of the way out. Okay, now we're going to go up to a beam reach. So how far out is your sail on a beam reach?
50%.
Yep, halfway out. Okay, everybody got that?
This is good.
Looks
Yep,
like Helen's
I
got it.
that.
Matthew, do you have it? Is your sail halfway out? Everyone but Gabriel should have a sail that works, and Gabriel's dismasted, so we're going to have to work out getting him a
Yeah,
new
it was
mast.
me and my dad were on the race when one of the boat's masts fell off.
My dog
Yep,
wants to sit.
that happens. It sure does.
I can confirm
I've had that happen to
stuff
me. It's
happens.
kind of scary. Okay, and then a quarter of the way out. What point of sail are we on when the sail's a quarter of the way out? Anybody? What's the point of sail that you're almost in the no-go zone?
Is it
Gabriel?
Close hauled.
Close haul.
Both hauled. All right.
Correct answer.
Okay, great. Everyone did a great job. Okay, so now we're going to pin my video because I'm going to show you some live footage that Evan took when he was sailing on the boat last week. So we're going to look at what this looks like on an actual boat when you're sailing. So Evan, what's this first video that we're going to see?
Awesome. So this first video is a video of us unfurling the jib. So on our sailboat, the jib actually wraps around itself, which is called furling, so that when it's not in use, it can just be neatly kept up there. And so then when we want to use the jib, we'll unfurl it, and we could pull a line or pull one of our sheets and uncleat one of the lines and actually pull the jib out, and you're going to be able to see it slowly start to open up when Charlie plays the video. Awesome. All right, so you're starting to see the sail is unfurling. It's unwrapping at the front, and that little blue piece at the bottom wraps around it to protect the sail. And so then we're going on a close haul course right now, so you can see our booms right in the middle of the boat. And as we're unfurling the jib, it's starting to flap in the wind, and then we could pull it in and trim it just like we have our mainsail. This next video here is us going on a close haul course. So now we've got our main sheet pulled in 1/4 of the way, and we've got our jib pulled in, and we're going super fast. And you can see that the waves are actually breaking over the side of the boat, because when you're going on close haul, the waves are kind of crashing onto you. And so it's a really fun point of sail, but you really get jostled around a whole lot. Everyone seeing that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. All right, and then this next one, we're going on a beam reach. So like we were just talking about earlier, our sails are halfway out. And so we've got both our mainsail and our jib halfway out. And now the beam reach is our fastest point of sail on our sailboats. But the wind was a little bit low for this part of the sail. So we're not going quite as fast as we were for the last one. That's cool. It's just such a big sail on that boat. And then this last one is my personal favorite. So the way that the boat that I was sailing on differs from a lot of our boats is that our boat has, or my boat rather, has 2 masts. And so the front mast, the one that's holding the mainsail, is just called the main mast. And that's the one you could see in the very front right here. And then the second mast is a lot smaller, and it's behind the main mast, and it's called the mizzen mast, And the sail on that mast is called the mizzen sail. So the mizzen mast and the mizzen sail. And that this just gives us a little extra boost, a little more sail area. So you're able to see we've got the mizzen, we've got the mainsail, and you can even see the little bit of the corner of the jib. And we're going super fast in this video. You can see the waves are kind of splashing over the sides like that. And we've got our mainsail and our mizzen sail both trimmed. You can see they're parallel to each other. They're trimmed the same way on that beam reach so that we can get all that maximized speed. Those are some fun videos from the trip I had.
Thanks, Evan. That's awesome. Okay, so the first poll, what point of sail is closest to the no-go zone? Okay, well, what's your answer, Kellen? What's
Close
the point?
hauled.
Close hauled. All right.
Yay.
Awesome. Nice
100%.
job, guys.
Awesome. 100%. Okay, and the second question is, what point of sail has the sails all the way out? So what point of sail are you when the sails are all the way out? Everyone, did you vote, Kellen?
Yes, I certainly did.
Okay,
Very
how are we
nice.
doing? Did everybody vote? A run is correct. Oh, one person said beam reach. So run is the correct answer. And that's when the sails are all the way out. The wind is behind you when you're just going with the wind. The beam reach is when you're sailing across the wind. So how far out are your sails when you're sailing across the wind, everybody?
Half.
Half. Okay. Okay. So for next week, how many of you guys got the boxes? You got a box and a tube already.
I think I have a
Yep,
box.
I did get the box.
Hold on.
Okay.
This stuff. in
Okay.
it.
Box,
So
not
the
the tube.
boxes for next week, you've already opened it, close it. Don't look at it until next week. So if you did it, we'll follow up. Stephanie and I are going to follow up to make sure what's going on with our mailing system, because we mailed all these out Federal Express, so you would get them yesterday. So if you didn't get your poster, don't worry, we'll get it to you so that everyone's got a point of sale poster. So next week, we're going to learn about aids to navigation. So now we know why our boat is floating. We know how to trim our sails to make our boat go. We need to figure out where is it safe to have our boat go and what are the street signs out there. So we're going to learn about that next week. So I do have pictures from a couple of you of your boats and you. Please, please, please send me a picture of you and your boat so that we can share them with our board of directors and put them in our newsletter. So that's your homework for the week, is to send me a picture of you and your vessel.
Okay.
All right, any questions for me?
Yes, my mom tried to send a picture, but it like bounced back or something. Where should he send it?
You can send it to charlie@brandonsailing.org.
Or Stephanie.
That gets bounced. Yep. And if it gets bounced back, just shoot me an email and we'll work it out. Maybe we can figure out another way to do it. Okay. Any other questions? Is everyone going to be here next week?
Yeah.
All right. And Catherine,
I
we're
may
going
not
to
be here
send
next
you.
week because I'll be on vacation.
Oh,
But
shoot.
I could potentially bring my boat, all the stuff, and I could to the
Oh,
cabin
wait.
house.
I think
Yeah,
I
and
will
actually,
do it.
if you don't need to bring your big boat, you don't need to bring this boat, but if you bring that box with you, you can participate. If you can spend an hour with us, even on vacation, that's the beauty of Zoom.
Sure thing.
You won't need your big boat. You'll just need the box.
I forgot. I'm
All
gonna
right.
go on
Okay.
vacation too.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next week, or we'll send you the video of next week.
All right, bye.
See
All
you
right.
next week.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye,
Good to see you
everybody.
guys.
Good to see you.
Bye.